Thank you, colleagues. I welcome you to today's sitting. Matters of national importance. Honorable Yeri Ofono.
Thank you very much, the Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mine is on the winding up of the authority, Coffee Development Authority. There was grant which was given by EU World Bank to the beneficiaries. There are some beneficiaries which were chosen, the farmers, but the type of this grant, they don't give you in advance. You implement before they give you the money. So the farmers went ahead, borrowed money, some went to money lenders, and performed what they are supposed to do. The staff of the Coffee Authority came and justified, and they gave a report. But up to now, no money has been paid to them. They are being tossed around. The ministry says the money is with the Ministry of Maive.
What's your point, your matter of national importance?
The point is,
what's your prayer? Yeah.
My prayer is that how do these people get their money?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honourable Minister Bahati.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Honorable Yeli, for the point of national importance. We committed that all obligations of the organization that we rationalize it will be met, and if government or anybody committed, to meeting those obligations, we will do that, but I will cross-check with the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that the point he has raised is answered to.
So we can get a verbal answer on Tuesday? Okay. An oral answer on Tuesday. Thank you. Honorable Chamanges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, mine is about grant aiding of a school called Kwarus SS in Kwanyi Sub-County. This is a school that has now taken about 30 years, that was started by the community, and the school now has 924 students. The community have been struggling. They have constructed almost all the classes. This and the same sub-county does not have another government. With the hope that government would take them up and put them on payroll and proceed. So, Mr. Speaker, our prayer is that government grant aids this school so that the teachers who have been teaching can be taken up, since this will not be a very high cost for government. After all the grassrooms, everything has been built, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, it's one of the biggest problems that we have in the constituency.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Government.
Mr. Speaker, the policy of government regarding secondary schools is that we should have a secondary school per sub-county. And from the reports we have made good progress. And I think we are now almost at 60 or 70%. Now, I'll check with the member, but also inform the Minister of Education about this requirement to cross-check with him whether the sub-county has a secondary school or you need an additional secondary school because of the community effort, and the Ministry of Education will be informed accordingly and respond and get in touch with you about the matter.
Thank you. Next item is on what point, Honorable Samju?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I came to register a matter regarding Makerere University. Makerere University, I was approached by some staff yesterday that the university is going to restructure, and in that restructuring, about 500 staff are about to lose their jobs. Their complaint was that was the manner in which it was being done and the selection of who will be affected. Mr. Speaker, I request that government briefs Parliament on that restructuring that is going to cause us problems. That's what I wanted to...
Thank you. Now, but honorable colleagues, we shall not be interfering in the day-to-day running of government agencies. Let's give them a chance, okay, if there are any complaints, but the Minister of Education should take note, okay, so that the process is as transparent as possible in case it's being done, because there must be a reason why government institutions are doing what they are doing in that line. But I take your point of saying in case they are doing it, there must be fairness and there must be merit in whatever they are doing. Okay, so I want us to concentrate on the budgeting process with this period, but I promise, Honorable, I'm going to take in interest in the matter. I raise it with the Minister. Next item.
Item number 3 on the order paper. Motion for approval of the proposed annual budget for financial year 2025-2026. 1. Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Bahati, kindly link up with your colleagues. We need the ministers in here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm here to present the report on the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development on the Ministerial Policy Statement and Budget Estimates for the financial year 2025-2026. Allow me to lay on table the report of the committee and the minutes. I beg to lay. Right Honorable Speaker, introduction. On the 11th March 2025, the Ministerial Policy Statement for the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and Equal Opportunities Commission were laid before Parliament as required under Section 13 of the Public Finance Management Act, and in accordance with the Rule 1461 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, the Ministerial Policy Statement were referred to the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development pursuant to Article 1554 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, Section 13(4), and also Section 13(4) of the Public Finance Management Act, and Rule 189 of the Rules of the Procedure of Parliament. To examine...
Honorable, we use 15 minutes. We know because we assigned you, so we want you to go to your observations and recommendations. 15 minutes. So
thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development handles 2 votes. Vote 018 of the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and vote 124 on Equal Opportunities Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, page 4 highlights the same page, vote 18, Minister of Gender, the sector mandate. I will not go through it. The strategic objectives, the expected outcomes. Page 6 highlights the compliance to NDP 4, to the PMFA, and also gender compliance. Page 7.
Can we go to page 29? The report will be captured full on the Hansard.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, vote page 29, the means of gender, labor, and social development, the committee observations and recommendations. The committee made the following observations and recommendations. 9.1, counterpart funding towards interventions under GROW project. The committee observed that the GROW project, which is a World Bank grant, was at $217 million to government of Uganda, is being implemented. However, government has not provided counterpart funding, was a 0.800 billion. It should be noted that the counterpart funding for the project is required to support the necessary governance structures for the project operations, steering project technical committees, project oversight, monitoring and evaluations, among others. The GROW project intends to address these challenges through, among others, increased access to finance for women entrepreneurs for transition from micro enterprise to small and medium enterprise. The provision of the enterprise development services, including business advisory services, women networks that facilitate market linkages, value chain, and transforming negative social norms that prevent women from engaging in business activities, enabling inclusive infrastructure through common users, facilities, and child care. The committee noted with concern that inability by government to provide counterpart funding in the financial year 2025-2026 budget to support intervention under this project will result in delays in project implementation. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance should provide Uganda shillings 0.800 billion as counterpart funding for GROW project in financial year 2025-2026 budget in fulfillment of government commitment. Right Honorable Speaker, 9.2, rent obligations. The committee observed that Ministry of Finance has been renting office space and there is need. Ministry of Gender has been renting office space and there is need by the Minister to construct its own offices. However, the Ministry informed the committee that government halted construction and acquisition of headquarters for MDS. Currently, they are renting the premises. All such ministries will be accommodated at a proposed government campus at Webaje. As a result, the ministry will continue renting. It was observed that Ministry of Finance in 2021 committed to adjust the MTF by shillings 1.073 billion, but this has not been effected to date.
My sister, you will not read everything. You know? I'm sorry, but if you saw how we were doing yesterday.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Because this is your report, you know it. Pick out the salient issues.
On rent, we are recommending that the ministry provides for additional 1.073 billion to meet the rent obligations and also to provide for the areas that have already occurred. Titling of land, it was observed that the land of the ministry are not titled and they require 2 billion. Therefore, the committee has made a recommendation that 2 billion for processing land titles be provided. Child disability grant. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that during the budget framework paper, the ministry required 8.2 billion to provide for child disability grant. However, in the budget estimates, nothing has been provided. Therefore, we recommend that 8.2 billion be provided for child disability grant. Withdrawal and rehabilitation of settlement of street children, the committee recommends that Ministry of Finance should avail funds worth shillings 5 billion for the withdrawal and rehabilitation and settlement of street children. Special enterprise grant. The committee observed that additional funds of 5 billion have been provided, but leaving a shortfall of 5 billion. Therefore, the committee recommends that 5 billion be provided by the Ministry of Finance to allow the program to be carried out to up to 6 sub-counties, an increase from 3 sub-counties to 6 counties, 6 sub-counties. Labor externalization. Right Honorable Speaker, 9.7 on labor externalization is a policy issue. I'm going for the issues that require money. Joint program on youth livelihood.
You can read the recommendation, just.
Okay.
It's a critical issue.
Thank you. The committee recommends that Ministry of Gender and Social Development should prioritize development of migrant workers database and monitoring system to ensure traceability of Ugandans' labor force abroad. 2, resources be allocated to fast track the implementation of centralized database to track migrant workers, monitor their conditions abroad, and support their integration upon return. Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development should establish the Migrant Workers Saving Fund for the establishment of additional labor attaché offices to provide for better protection for Ugandans working abroad. Joint program for youth livelihood and WEP. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Finance provides additional 7.4 billion to reach out to more women and youth groups. 2, Ministry of Gender to strengthen its strategies of recovery under the joint program of youth livelihood and WEP. 3, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development should conduct sensitization and encourage women and youth to diversify business enterprises that provide for high return on investment. And therefore, we recommend that 7.7 billion be provided. Currently, they are provided for 27 billion. Also, the committee recommends that on 9.9, WEP and youth livelihood on the recovery account in Bank of Uganda. The ministry enhanced recoveries through technical support, monitoring and training, which resulted into recovery of UJX 41.24 from youth and UJX from 37.93 from women groups by November. As per the Auditor General's report 2024, this money recovered from the joint program has remained on Bank of Uganda recovery account. The committee therefore recommends that Ministry of Finance avails the money to allow more youth and women groups to access the revolving fund. Creative industry. Right Honorable Speaker, the creative industry through additional funds has gotten around 28 billion additional funds. Therefore, the committee makes a recommendation. The committee recommends that Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development should fast track the following activities: develop Uganda National Cultural Center, develop regional cultural centers to support upcoming creative youth with creative skills. 3, development of pre-feasibility and feasibility study on culture and creative industry. 9.11, prevention and response to gender-based violence. The committee recommends that Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development should set up gender-based violence shelters for recovery and rehabilitation of gender-based violence survivors. This is a policy matter. Strengthen the compliance and occupational safety and health standards at workplaces, chemical safety and security programs. Recommendations. The committee recommends that funds be available to Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development for recruitment of more inspectors to enhance labour inspection and OSH monitoring. Right, Honourable Speaker, this is an area where the Ministry also collects NTR. 2, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development should develop mobile inspection units at regional levels to reach out to remote and informal workplaces at a regular basis, as this is one of the areas the ministry, that is a repetition. 3, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development regularly follows up on the issues of compliance and effective implementation of occupational safety and health regulations and measures in all workplaces. 4, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to enforce penalties for non-compliance and deter unsafe practices. 9.13, election of workers at Parliament and local government. This is a provision in the Parliamentary Elections Act that some non-unionist workers should also mobilize to participate in the elections. And the committee recommends that funding of a tune of 5.7 billion be provided to Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to enable them comply with the Electoral Commission roadmap. 9.14, implementation of national apprenticeship and graduate volunteer scheme. The committee recommends and reiterates its earlier recommendation that Minister of Finance avails funds worth 3.0 billion to cater for the implementation of national apprenticeship and graduate volunteer scheme. Child labor. Right, Honourable Speaker, the committee noted that during the budget framework paper financial year 25-26, elimination of child labor required 6.8 billion. During the interaction with the Committee on Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the Minister informed the committee that Uganda shillings 5 billion was availed in the second budget call circular to cater for the same. However, in the draft budget estimate, only UG shillings 2 billion has been provided, therefore leaving a funding gap of 4.8. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance provides UGX 4.8 billion for the implementation of programs aimed at reducing the rate of child labor in the country. 9.16, supporting Juakali's enterprises to transition into formal economy. The committee recommends that 7.7 billion be allocated to Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to enable the rollout of Juakali support program. Right, Honourable Speaker, I now go to vote 124, Equal Opportunities Commission. I go direct to the recommendations and observations. The committee made the following observations and recommendations. Scale up the implementation of gender equity planning and budgeting for both local and central governments. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance avails funds UGX 5 billion for the comprehensive implementation of gender and equity planning and budgeting for local government. Undertaking 15.2, undertaking tribunal hearings to increase access to social justice. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance provides funds worth 3 billion to cater for tribunal hearings, as this would lead to increase in access to social justice. 15.3, integrating ethnic minorities into the national development process. And the committee recommends that Ministry of Finance provides funds to the tune of UGX 3 billion to cater for the special program for integrating ethnic minorities in national development programs. 15.4, scaling up the implementation of gender and equity planning and budgeting in Karamoja sub-region. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance provides ejects 0.32 billion to scale up the implementation of gender and equity planning and budgeting in the Karamoja sub-region as an affirmative action. Renovation and expansion for other offices at Bugolobi. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance provide 3 billion for renovation and expansion of the equal opportunities premises in Bugolobi. Right Honorable Speaker, on page 52, table 21, that is the recurrent development and development estimates for the financial year 2025-2026. The overall budget for the Ministry of Gender and Social Development, vote 018, is 443. There is an increase from the last financial year of around 28 billion. The overall budget for the Equal Opportunities Commission is 23.6, an overall increase of 3.4 from the last financial year. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the comprehensive report that will be captured in full on the Hansard. Colleagues in the public gallery this morning, we have students and teachers from Bukedea Comprehensive School, Bukedea District. They are represented by our very own, the Right Honorable Speaker, Anta Anet Among, and Honorable Koza John Bosco. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. You can stand up. Very smart. Thank you. Yes. The Minister for Gender is here, so debate can start. I'll start with Honorable Noeline Nsembo, Honorable Aogon. 3 minutes each.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to thank the committee for a very comprehensive report. Right Honorable Speaker, my issue is one. It has to do with the labor externalization, and the committee chairperson has rightly put it that it's a policy issue. Right Honorable Speaker, we have many of our young people going to look for employment in different countries, and the ministry is at the center of managing this. I agree with the committee recommendation that they need support and the migrant workers need some kind of protection. Right Honorable Speaker, at the moment in my district, Kibale, we are grappling with an unfortunate situation. One of our own girls, called Namata Teddy, from Kibale Town Council, Busana, died in Saudi Arabia. She went in 2022 to work, and the company that processed her travel was called SWAT Services, has since closed. The girl died in Saudi Arabia. May her soul rest in peace. At the moment, the family is grappling with bringing back the body. They have requested for 16 million. Usually, most of these young people who go to seek employment abroad, they come from very poor families. When such unfortunate incidents happen, they are completely helpless. I want to pray that the ministry comes in, one, to put in place what the committee has recommended, the Migrant Workers Support Fund, so that in such unfortunate instances, they are able to come in. And Right Honorable Speaker, my prayer is that for this current unfortunate situation that we are in as the people of Kibale. We are seeking help from the Ministry of Gender to ensure that the body of our own is returned back home. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Sorry about that, Honorable. Our condolences. And I hope the Ministry follows up on that matter. Honorable Pendi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for its report. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to support the recommendations in that report. But specifically, we have talked severally about the issue of the GBV shelters, the gender-based violence shelters. These are safe houses that are needed by various people who actually have challenges, but they cannot live in their communities when they have cases in court, Right Honorable Speaker. And I remember at the last event that we held, you actually committed to ensure that at least we start with one regional shelter per financial year, so that subsequently in 4 financial years would at least cover the 4 major regions of the country, beginning with the areas where we have highest GBV cases. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that that can be done. And it doesn't take a lot of money. Let us get away from the corruption. UPDF can construct a GBV shelter in one region at about 600 million shillings, and that we can afford. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, is the challenge of this apprenticeship. This national apprenticeship program, Right Honorable Speaker, we are scattering interventions. Under the Ministry of Education, there is skilling. Under the Office of the President, there is the skilling program. Now, gender, there is this apprenticeship. It's all about skilling. Can we integrate and have this under one roof, rather than scattering efforts under different sectors? I really beg that that needs to be streamlined, and I hope the government is listening, because this is an executive function.
And I thought that was the purpose of program-based budgeting.
Yes, that's what but still they leave them scattered. The program-based budgeting still does not bring these together, Right Honorable Speaker. It actually leaves different entities handling, but at the point of budgeting, they are all centered under one, yes. So there is need for the executive to really, streamline that, so that we have this under one sector. If it is education, let it be so. If it is under the presidency as a special program, let it be so. Thirdly, Right Honorable Speaker, is the issue of the child labor. Surely, 2 billion shillings is needed to actually help the Ministry of Gender to end child labor. Right Honorable Speaker, we have schools. It is against the law to employ children, the Children's Act. And that is a case of enforcement.
I intervened with your time, so you conclude.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thought it would be now the law enforcement agencies, actually, and even the LOCs in the villages, ensuring that we end child labor. Government has prioritized education with the universal primary education programs and the USE. Why can't these children be in school? If we are talking about child labor, we are talking about children who are below 18 years. Why are these children not utilizing the government programs, the education programs, which fortunately are now even closer to the community? Because every parish has a primary school. For the secondary education, yes, some sub-counties still don't have, but at least the parishes have primary schools. So it's an enforcement issue under the internal affairs, under local governments. Why should the Ministry of Gender be given 2 billion shillings to end this child labor? Right Honorable Speaker, as I end, the 3 billion for integrating ethnic minorities, can we get clarification? What exactly are you talking about? And which are these ethnic groups that the Ministry of Gender is actually referring to? I need clarification on that. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Cyrus Augon.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me to take off a minute to welcome the students of Mbale Comprehensive. Bukedia Comprehensive. You know, I studied in Mbale Comprehensive, that's why. to welcome the students. You know, I worked in Bukedia from 2006 up to 2015 when I resigned to come into politics. So these are the home products. I want to welcome them here. Right Honorable Speaker, a few comments here. One, on the issue of grow, indeed I want to agree with the committee. We need to support that government gets money for counterpart funding and what have you. The issue is whether the money is reaching out to us. For instance, in Ikumi, I would love the committee to tell me how many women from my place they have benefited. That's critical. We don't want to fund what we don't know. Two, there is this issue of rent for MDS. Until when, Right Honorable Speaker? I think it's a high time we commit ourselves really. If we are constructing offices, let us construct them. Because the amount of money that we are putting in the rent is too huge, in my opinion. We must stop this kind of, bleeding. The other issue is the issue of the children on the streets. The best home for the children when they are really at that age is in school. Why should we commit 5 billion shillings to try to remove street kids from the streets? And we don't know where we are taking them. They should be taken to school. I want to agree with the chairperson Wapa. Let's pay fees. We can use some minimum force, but let us trace the causes. And I know that the GBV is the real cause of this. We must trace. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of support to Juakali transition to formal economy. I'm worried about this because what is the criteria of choosing the people who are going to benefit? If we are going to put 7 billion shillings, how much of that money is coming to Kumi municipality? I'm worried that money might be eaten by some people with metallic teeth because I cannot trace for them. Who are these people? Who are these people? Can you tell me who is going to benefit? What is the criteria? What is the measure? Which region? Which culture? Which denomination? You need to help us. I don't need the information right now. I know it is good information. Social justice, tribunal sittings are very important so that people get justice. So I think I support the committee on this. The issue of migrant workers, I think government collects money from these people when they are going abroad. But we have not felt the work of that money.
Thank you. FDC DP.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I join you in welcoming the students of Bukedia. Students, you are welcome, and this house needs you and me. After your education, this is where you are supposed to come, to legislate. Because when we grow up, you are the ones to take over. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to talk about the GROW program. Last year, we were called for capacity building as members of parliament, and in that training, we were told that this is a program meant for everybody. For everybody. So, last week, 2 weeks back, I was surprised when somebody said, this is the program that she has brought for the people. And yet this is a program for Ugandans, and it is by the government of Uganda, not by an individual. So we need maybe to update some of our members. Even if we are going for votes, we need to get the votes rightly, because that is killing the program. The other thing I would like to talk about is the issue of the street children. In Soroti district, in Soroti city, we have the street children, and they are becoming a very big problem. A very big problem, and if government does not intervene, these children can even be used by any other person, because they are capable of doing anything. They now have even their organization, they have the chairperson. Now you ask yourself, chairperson taking reports where? So we really need, although I've not heard from the report, the intervention of government. I thank you.
Thank you. Okot.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker.
Procedure, Honorable Surani.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a procedural matter. The debate that is taking place is very important, but our brothers on the other side, especially the ministers and the shadow ministers, including the leader of opposition, are totally absent. They have absconded from duty. They are not there. We always blame cabinet ministers when they are not here. Today, these people are totally not there. Yet, at the end of the day, you will see other members running to the media blaming a certain thing. Why will it be procedure right for you not to use your powers to direct them to come to the house so that we debate so that they don't embarrass the opposition?
Honorable Semju, it's a procedure matter. It's the speaker to determine. So, acting group Honorable Narkora is here. But no, Honorable Semju, please don't. Let's not hit back, okay? Yeah. But Honorable Semju was among the first people.
Yeah, because he has put it on the record that we are not here. This parliament started when the Honorable Sirwanyi was not here. And he has just come. The government that is facilitated with the cars and security and everything, they had only Honorable Bahati here. That's when we started. And I was the first here. So here, Mr. Speaker, I thought that we started when we are here. Actually, for us, we are overrepresented because the government was represented by only half a minister, a junior minister.
No, we don't have half a minister, Honorable Sam. Please, we don't have half a minister.
A junior minister, Mr. Speaker, I beg your pardon.
So, Honorable colleagues, please, the opposition is around, okay? The opposition is around. I can see nearly all parties. So, and the one on the floor is the whip of DP.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank the committee for the well-written report. I have two observations to make. One, our colleagues have already spoken on GROW, but Right Honorable Speaker, some of these interventions are meant to support our women, to improve their livelihoods, but the conditionality, apart from the counterpart funding, there are stringent conditions for our women to access this fund. We know in most of our societies, women do not own certain properties. For example, land. And when they go to the bank to access this money, it is being announced every day on radio that there are these funds to be accessed by women, but when they get to the bank, the conditions don't allow them. So we may be here saying that there are funds available for women, but when they are not accessing them. Two, Right Honorable Speaker, it is on the grants to older persons. We all know that life becomes sweeter as you age. Seeing from SAGE, our old persons really enjoy the little token that they get. And we remember in the 10th Parliament how members put a spirited fight to have SAGE enroll to all the districts in the country. And that is why the age was pushed to 80 years as a start. Now, with this grant to the older person targeting 60 to 79 years older persons, and it is targeting only 3 sub-counties per district, and the demand is too huge. I would urge that the ministry now, that the program has run for 3 years now, let it be evaluated so that we get to know its success. But I must say, in my district of Omoro, the program is doing very well. And that should encourage its expansion to the other sub-counties that are remaining. Because if we don't do that, it is already known that something exists. These older persons find difficulties in getting enrolled in these other projects now because they are being told, no, for you, you have your special project. So they are getting difficulties. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Ik.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to applaud the committee for the good report. But I have two areas of concern where I need clarity. The committee is asking for money for election of workers at parliament and local government. For me, which I believe is a mandate of the Electoral Commission, can I be clarified why a Minister of Gender is seeking 5.7 billion when this parliament, as a proposal from Electoral Commission, shows just sums of money that they need to organize the election. And I'm aware that those elections are conducted by the Independent Electoral Commission. I need clarity from the chairperson or the minister why the committee is recommending another 5.7 billion. I'm worried in that arrangement. And another area is the affirmative action that the chair is seeking money for Karamoja. Karamoja has a ministry as an affirmative action responsible for the issues of Karamoja. Now, if Minister of Gender is also budgeting for Karamoja, and yet there is a ministry responsible for Karamoja, how do we correlate the two? So in those two areas, Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking the chairman to clarify on the two issues. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Betty Angora, Honourable Bashisha.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I also support the report from the chairperson. I have one issue. The issue is on GROW project, because they allowed us to talk to the women, to mobilize women. You see, what affects women affects many people. Now, women were very disappointed going to banks. Like in Apache, we have 2 banks that were accredited to receive this money of GROW. Centenary Bank and Post Bank. But you get there, they say there is no money. Now, last year, around September, we attended the workshop, and the ministers assured us that after maybe about 2 months then, they would communicate to us regarding money, enough money to these banks. But up to now, the ministry or ministers have not communicated at all what is going on. Because whenever I go back to my constituents, women keep coming and calling to ask about this GROW project, because they have their businesses which they want, to grow. So can we know from the minister, when will these banks have enough money for the women of this country? I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Bashisha.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My issue is on the child labour. Honourable Speaker, when I'm driving in the traffic jam, I'm usually concerned about those young children who sell bananas, they are selling mangoes, apples, and I wonder whether these children can go back to school after tasting the sweetness of money. Right Honourable Speaker, when we are talking about child labor, we should not only talk about those who are employed as housemaids or house girls or other areas. We should consider to look for parents who engage these young children in business. They are the same people who increase the percentage of school dropouts. So I'm requesting the chairperson gender to consider engaging the enforcement officers to make sure that at least we start with urban centers and chase all those children who are engaged in business and they are forced to go back to school. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable John Face Magora.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Followed by Judith Achan.
Right Honorable Speaker, when the GROW program came in on board, we were mobilized. We went to our constituencies. We worked together with the community development officers and the gender department at the district. We mobilized women, and they were all ready. We told them this is the way to go. This is for women. But what has come out, Right Honorable, is now when I talk to my CDO and go to record this, not even a single group or a single person or beneficiary who was enlisted, trained to access these resources called the GROW in the GROW project has received. Right Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be a good idea that the ministry actually generates a list and distributes to districts the beneficiaries of this program? Because when they are popularizing it, the districts and the community development offices were the conduits to popularize this program. It cannot now be thrown out at the time of implementation. Because at the moment, all of us, we are not being looked at in a good way because we have not delivered in that regard. Also, the issue of titling government land. I really want to support the committee. The land of the government is really at stake in every ministry. That shouldn't only be in gender, but the government should really take it as a very important matter to secure the land that belongs, the public land that belongs to the people of Uganda and government. And finally, Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of development of the data bank for fast-tracking migrant workers is such an important thing, and it goes back to the issue of the ministry developing the national diaspora policy. We are talking about 1.7 billion Uganda shillings that are remitted to this country by migrant workers every year. And we are busy looking for money, and we cannot develop a policy to fast-track such a development. Right Honorable Speaker, I submit, but those are very key issues. I support the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable, with regard to that issue of migrant workers, Honorable Minister for Gender, I've met very many of our migrant workers in Dubai, and they told me that as a government, we need to negotiate for their rates. We need to negotiate for their rates as a government. They gave me an example of Kenya. They said, you find you are doing the same job with someone from Kenya, but the government of Kenya negotiated with the government of UAE on a minimum rate. And you find they are earning double. So they are saying we've left them on their own, to survive on their own, to negotiate on their own, to be exploited on their own. So we need to intervene. They requested that we need to intervene and we negotiate for them. And of course, the other one is maybe, should I say, Minister of Foreign Affairs working with gender, but general government in general. We have positions we are losing out on international organizations. I know countries which have, for example, gone to FAO headquarters and our neighboring countries and demanded we need a share of Ugandan jobs, of our jobs. And they've gotten. But now we are facing our people who are in international organizations. Most of them, when you're talking to them, when I meet them, they say, no, I'm here on my own. I found my way here. So I can't be a good ambassador of the country. When I'm meeting others who are being promoted because their countries are intervening and demanding that they need to be supported. So we need a mechanism of supporting. We can develop a database, for example, of our people who are in UN organizations, a very good example, and international organizations. And we see how we can follow up, we support them, That way, we will have in many. I can tell you, you go in Rome, you go to Rome at FAO, and you look at a certain country, you look at how many people it has in influential positions, and you look at Uganda, you just wonder. And when you ask, they say, no, the government demanded, followed up, there is a desk officer in charge of that, of ensuring that their people are placed internationally, in international organizations, to negotiate and lobby for their country. For us, we leave it whom it may concern. So I think it is something we need to look at deeply. This is feedback I got, and I felt it would be good to share it here. So, Honorable Judith.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to join my colleague in thanking the committee for well-elaborate report and the ministry as well. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to make a brief comment on GROW program. I think where we have a problem as leaders is, one, we did not pass the information to our people in the constituencies or the villages. Because the GROW project, ideally, from an inception information that I personally attended the meeting and got, is for certain category of people who has the collateral and already established or are able to get the GROW program money to start a business. Now, the issue of the collaterals that the banks demands from our women in the villages that women do not qualify for has been catered for in the PDM. That is the information I got from the very first day we were invited for the meeting, and that is the information I am passing to the people in the villages. Secondly, on the issue of disability grants, I really support the committee recommendation that we should support the ministry to enroll more groups for disabled persons in the villages, because these grants are really helping our people, because it is tailored made to specific and categorized disabled persons, because they choose what they want depending on the type or the category of disability they are affected with. And then lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, I support the 7 billion recommended by the committee towards Juakali. If I can give a report on this floor from my constituency, one group every week makes a dress and they get 45,000 on one dress made in a week. Now, if they make, for example, 2 dresses, that is 90,000 in a week. Times the 4 weeks in a month, they get 360,000. And they also use that same center and that same office space that they have to train other child mothers that they have enrolled, 20 child mothers every after 2 weeks. So I would really like to support the additional 7 billion towards Juakali, and this is having a direct impact on our child mothers in the villages. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Cuthbert Abigaba, Honorable Achen Dokas.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for the good work, and I associate with their recommendations. There is only one observation which is cross-cutting, Right Honorable, the issue of rent for government ministries. I have belonged to very many committees, and this is a serious matter, and the government is not willing to provide money to construct offices. They keep referring to the Bwebaja campus. So I want somebody in government to tell us what progress has been made to actualize that Bwebaja campus, because they keep hiding behind it to deny ministry, departments, and agencies money to construct offices. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Msasizi, you can help us on that, on the Bwebaja campus. Remember, you are saying it's NSSF what? Because if you're denying them money based on that, you must be having information on the progress.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, government acquired land at Bwebaja to construct offices, what is called the government campus, in order to accommodate all ministries which do not have their permanent homes. However, Mr. Speaker, this campus needs to be constructed, and the construction requires financing. The first option we looked at was an arrangement with NSSF to provide the financing. However, this option was declined because it was not cost effective. The funding was too expensive for government. Now we are out looking for other options which can be a little bit affordable. If we get the financing, we shall construct, but I cannot tell when this will materialize. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Chen Dokas, followed by Honorable Renduru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the committee for this very elaborate report. However, I have concerns, especially on GROW project. In a Leptong district, which I represent, there is no single beneficiary of this GROW project. And I believe that is also true for several other districts. And yet we know that out of the 112 billion which was allocated, the report says 51.4% was released and only 6% was spent. Now that is really sad. And even as we ask for counterpart funding, we know that there was a serious underspend. And I would like to urge the committee and even the ministry to put more emphasis to ensure that this GROW project can benefit the women. And also there should be clarity with information that is going out. I listened to what my colleague Honorable Judith Achan was talking about for GROW to be a startup funding. But also information we have on the ground is that GROW is for growing your project literally, is for those who have already started their micro businesses and they're looking at expanding it to small and medium enterprises. And I think with about 4 million as the amount to be got, that information has to go out very clearly. The other is about the GBV shelter, Right Honorable Speaker. Uganda has a very clear guidelines for establishment and operationalization of the GBV shelter. However, even as we focus on setting up the shelters, we have a serious challenge with how we are doing the operationalization. Some of the shelters we visited across the country are not supporting the survivors with survivor-centered services, taking into consideration the different services the survivors need. For example, health, the clinical care for sexual assault survivors, or what they call clinical management of rape, you find it really missing and there are serious gaps. Psychosocial support, survivors are there and they're not getting the necessary services required. And I think as government, we need to put more emphasis on ensuring that our shelters are doing well, because other countries I know are borrowing from our guidelines for setting up an operationalization. But for us, we are not doing well in how we are implementing. The last one, Right Honorable Speaker, is about Women's Day celebration. The committee and also ministry. This year, most of the districts, actually all districts, we did not.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, in the public gallery this morning, we have Kwisania Saving Group from Budiope East, beyond the district. They are represented by Honorable Moses Magogo Hashim and Honorable Nakato Marianet. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Renduru, followed by Honorable Nyanzi, and followed by Honorable Sol.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to join my colleagues in thanking the Committee of Gender. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to support the committee on the issue of child disability grant. Right Honorable Speaker, there in our communities, we have children with disabilities. Those children are suffering. They are marginalized, they are stigmatized, some are not going to school, they are mistreated, they are even not counted among the children. Therefore, I want to support the committee for considering those children, and also I support them that we give them more funding such that these children are really supported. Right Honorable Speaker, also allow me to appreciate the committee and support them on the issue of Youth Livelihood Fund and WEP. Right Honorable Speaker, we have our youth who are unemployed. If we continue supporting them, Right Honorable Speaker, they can do some work and earn a living. Right Honorable Speaker, also the Women Livelihood Fund. Like in my district, it is doing well, WEP Fund. It is where you go and you find accountability. So I commend and support the committee for that, for WEP money. Let's continue supporting our women. Let's continue supporting our nation. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Nyanzi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my attention is drawn to two issues. One is the unprovided 3 billion shillings for the implementation of the National Apprenticeship and Graduate Volunteer Scheme. Mr. Speaker, in my view, this money is not too much. And if provided, it would at least ensure that Ugandans who are potential employees become occupationally competent. So I want to recommend also and support that this money be provided. At least it will help reduce the unemployment. And also, Mr. Speaker, we all have stories about migrant workers who are coming from our constituencies. And the committee made a very good recommendation that resources be provided to fast track the implementation of a database to track these migrant workers, monitor their conditions, and what have you. Unfortunately, the same report does not specify how much. I don't think this database is very expensive. For us to combat this problem, it would be important for the committee to specify the amount, because as Parliament, we cannot say resources be provided. Which resources are these resources? Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Maureen. Followed by Honorable Kwizera, Honorable Auma. Honorable colleagues, those who are not in when the report was being presented, I don't know what you want to contribute on.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you, Honorable Chair, for that elaborate report. However, I have two concerns. Right Honorable Speaker, when we had the Women's Parliament here, and even after that, we still discussed in length about GROW project. The presiding officer then requested that the Minister of Gender should come with a comprehensive report to be laid on floor of Parliament. And in that report, it should indicate the list of all beneficiaries, district by district, cities by cities, but we are still expecting from the ministry. Until now, the minister promised to come back, but she has not yet come back. So, Minister of Gender, we are still expecting, because we wanted to know more about this about GROW project, as the Speaker then guided. And then second, Right Honorable Speaker, right from 10th Parliament, the ministry has been coming here to ask for money for child labor, for street children. How I wish the monies we give make impacts. And now they're asking for more money for child labor. I want to know, what are they going to use that money for? Because we are still seeing street children across the entire country, in all urban centers. We are told, it's alleged that there are people who are making money out of these children. And they keep coming back every time they take them away from all the urban centers. So the money the ministry is requesting, I want to know, what is that money for? Because these kids are still on the streets, and they're not even about to leave the streets. So that's where my interest is. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kwizera.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I have a few comments to make on the report. I want to thank the report for the work they have done. I want to concern myself with the growing number of children on our streets, because the ministry responsible should make an effort. When we are talking about tourists who come to this country, the image they take back is that government is not doing its work. So we want a deliberate effort that we should clean up the streets of these children so that the town is decent. That's one issue that the government should interest itself in. Another issue is like the mushrooming number of traditional leaders, because government has indicated they will be giving them 60 million per month. Whether it is a grant, whether it is a salary, the committee hasn't told us if it is money to be paid. Do they deduct pay as you earn? Is it an income to the individual, king or chief or leader, or it is to the institution? We need to be specific. You are giving 60 million to maybe like Magezi Kingdom or traditional leader. So we want to know if it is for him or if it is for the institution, so that we know that now there is a traditional leader who is receiving the money. Mr. Speaker and the honorable members, you remember that under the law, we have, the law provides for regional governments, and we have refused to take up regional governments. So why should we then provide for money to motivate people to start calling themselves kings? Another issue is about to grow in Buchimbiri County. I want to be helped by government to know why shouldn't we also benefit from grow? And is grow in a phased manner? Is it a pilot? So we need to know that kind of thing, Mr. Chairman. Secondly, we need to know the Honorable Musasa has talked about the position of government campus. But many of the reports are referring to the future plan, We want to know from the Minister of Finance or the committee responsible who brought this image of government offices, which is being used to deny ministries money for rent, or when it is even being done selectively. Finally, on externalization of labor, can we have a policy that a policy would...
Thank you. Honorable Uma.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to commend the committee for their elaborate submission. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I have three main concerns. One, that is informative, is about grow. Honorable colleagues, through you, the Speaker, it's important for us not to keep on talking just on the floor here, yet officers are there. I took initiative to go to grow office to get facts and information. We're talking about only the loans in the bank, Right Honorable Speaker. But grow have other grants. That is not a loan. That is even right now ongoing. People are applying into various fields like infrastructure to support women in various markets. That one, there's no need of collateral. It's a grant and they're not going to pay back. And even they have another for skilling. People are right now expressing interest in various fields of skilling that they intend to have, and the funds are there. Another is on supporting rural women under microfinance, because the women that have titles are mainly in urban areas. So right now, there's another program to support rural women, whereby even if you are in a group, you can get that money and your group will be your guarantors. So, honorable colleagues, Let us not wait for the minister to come here. Other people are applying. Take time and go to Gro's office. They are in Ministry of Gender, third floor. Another concern is on externalization of labor. Right, Honorable. We are talking about data, but other countries, as you stated, are really looking for skilled labor. That gives better earning. In October last year, the Right Honorable Speaker sent us to Germany. We went and met the Parliament of Bavarian. We realized they are lacking workers, and they want Ugandan workers because we are honest, we are hardworking. We found Kenya government, Ruto had got space for more than 30,000 skilled labor to be taken to Germany. And this is medical. Our NRM government have motivated the citizens to really do sciences. Now we are producing what we cannot even absorb in our systems. Why don't we take this? I even went to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We realized that there was already a ban by World Health Organization for Uganda not to export medical personnel. Why don't we talk to World Health and withdraw that, since we are producing a...
Thank you. Yes, and I think that's a critical point, because on the issue of medical workers, they said the ratio of our medical workers to the population is still low. So now, if they take the few that we have, what will happen? But then the few, the so-called few, are not employed, and are not employed. So these are issues of negotiating, and especially nurses. Honorable Atkins.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Honorable Speaker. I really want to thank the chairperson of the committee and your membership for that very important report. Mr. Speaker, sir, grow, and grow is a white elephant in our country as it relates to the women. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is money that will be paid by our taxpayers, who include the women. Mr. Speaker, sir, when you want a loan, Mr. Speaker, you go to the bank, and because you have a pay slip, you made the requirements and the conditions. Somebody in here, and all of us right here, have cars or vehicles. We call them car titles or car logbooks. So you can access a loan because you got a logbook. Mr. Speaker, sir, we talk about land titles, but we know that our land system in our country, we have not gotten to the point where everybody can have a land title. And the banks where the grow money is, they're going to condition it on a land title. Mr. Speaker, sir, now where is the Uganda woman going to find a car logbook or a car title, a pay slip, and all of the conditions that are required? So, Mr. Speaker, if we really care about our women, and I want to believe this particular house and the leadership of this house, we do care about our women. Mr. Speaker, sir, I ask that the conditions should only be your national ID, like other countries, especially the Western countries, do. All you need is your proof that you're an American citizen or European citizen, and you will have the funding. I mean, what are the national IDs for if I can't use it to get a loan? So, Madam Chair, I think that's very important. And also, Mr. Speaker, we are encouraging our young people to do welding, saloons, food processing. All of these activities are powered by electric. And you and me.
Please, I allowed him. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for your generosity. You know, Speaker, we're really great friends. But, Mr. Speaker, you know that in this country, literally, the thing that now brings all of us and our communities together is the lack of power, darkness all over the place. Mr. Speaker, how is that person with the saloon that we're giving money gonna conduct business if they got no power? Mr. Speaker, sir, how are they gonna process or make their juice and put it in the fridge and also money if they don't have power? The thing that we call facilitators. And I believe that this house should focus on facilitators, because until we have those facilitators in place, we're not going to grow and empower our economy. Let's have the good roads. Let's have clean, safe drinking water, and let's have the electric power, and we'll have grown and empowered our economy. I appreciate you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, you know, the record of the House needs to be very clear. I think we always need to take keen interest in each and everything that comes here, because for the GROW project, it was approved here as a RON. And we were told it's for women entrepreneurs who are already at a certain stage. And we said now we want to jumpstart them again and reach a certain level, because we said we have this parish model for those who don't have anything, which doesn't require korata and all that. But I remember when this RON was here, all these issues were looked at, and we said, okay, even these women who have already started the business have reached somewhere. Now they don't have access to affordable capital. Okay? So, and we passed to GROW based on that it is for people who are already in business who need help so that the business can grow. So we need to remain on that line, because that was our own resolution here. It becomes difficult for us now to come back and change it. And that was a condition for the funder, who was the World Bank. Maybe we can urge that now we need more projects where women don't need to be asked for collateral in as far as supporting their businesses is concerned. Honourable Minister.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the chair of the committee. I also want to thank the members of Parliament for the support that they have given us. I will start by making a general comment, because it seems GROW, as my in-law said, grow was the big topic in the House, and he called it a white elephant. But I want to say it's not a white elephant. And as the Speaker said, this was money for women entrepreneurs, those who were already in business. We are looking at a missing gap. We know women were brought by WEP. When WEP was fully fledged, there are women who came from that business level in groups. And then now we have the PDM. But also the other rich women will go to UDB. So there's a missing link for people who cannot get to the 500 million. But I want to inform the House that our ministry is organizing a fully detailed paper. And we are going to come here. That paper is already being developed. And we shall come and give the details of what has happened. But, Honourable Speaker, allow me to give some feedback to some of the questions that were asked. One, the issue of Honourable Noelin already handled it. It already reached the ministry, and I think we are going to follow that up. A letter was already written to us about the death of the lady, and I really want to also pay my condolences to the family. But I think we are trying to process, and a letter has been written to Foreign Affairs to help us to see how we coordinate with Saudi to ensure that this body is brought back home. So I will be in touch with you as far as I'm still acting minister this week to see how we can follow it up. But already, I have already been given information is already in the pipeline. Members have brought the issues. Let me try to follow them. Then I get the responses. Okay, there is the issue of Honorable Sarah, GBV. Right now, it is NGOs who are running the shelter areas, and we all know that funding for NGOs has reduced. So the reason for asking for money is for us to try to put in the GB shelters, and this should be a government responsibility. And that's why we are asking the committee to help us to see how we can come together and see how we support our people. Because the NGOs, I think, have got limited, and they have been supporting us. We want to appreciate them. The skilling is scattered. Yeah, it looks scattered, but I think we have a joint framework. As government, we have Ministry of Education, we have industries, we have institutions that give us apprenticeship, like hotels, and where we put these young people. Our work as Ministry of Gender, because we are in charge of issues of labor, there are youths who are not employed, they are not in school. So those are the ones we do the skilling in our ministry. Then there are youths who go to these vocational schools like Nakawa Vocational, maybe in our districts. Those ones are really under the Ministry of Education, but all of them target one area. But what I want to recognize, Mr. Speaker, the program approach has really not yet taken up, but Gender and Ministry of Education are still in one program. But when it comes to budgeting, we are still running them in our areas. But in the planning, we do it together. I think in the data bank, we started the data bank in the ministry of the migrants that are out there. And I want to encourage that this financial year, which we're ending, we didn't get the money to continue with the process. And we pray that the funding for the data bank could be enhanced so that we can continue with the process. In fact, we have launched already, as you enter now the ministry, just last week or 2 weeks ago, we have launched an area where we are going to be receiving the issues of immigrants, listening to them. Those who need support, the staff have already been recruited. And they are going to be getting all the information. Unfortunately, some of our people, because of the porous borders, they keep going on their own. But when they get a problem, then they come back to government. So those ones is very difficult to track. But the ones who go through the right system, we are able to track them. Just like the case she has said, we have been able to track because we got in touch with the institution that took her there. But some of our young people, especially Busia, Bugishu area, the other side of Karamoja, people just cross and go. And then you find them stranded. They don't have any documentation. And then we have young people after the 2-year contract, because we give them 2 years, then you come back to your community. But there are those after 2 years, they begin thinking that they have known that country and change their area where they were taken. So you find that you cannot track such a person. You are supposed to come back. Now you remain moving under United Arab Emirates, whatever. So when you meet the speaker, you say, I'm stranded here. But you have not come back to Uganda and maybe apply afresh. So there are also such cases. The issues of negotiation, right, Honourable Speaker, my minister is really busy with this. We are even trying to get to the European market to see how we can talk about those who are professionals. How do we take them out there? But we have also come up now with what we call the bilateral agreements, which are strict, trying to help the immigrants who are out there. And I think it is work in progress, and we shall be able to give a report here on what has come out of the meeting. Again, the issue of grow. Some people have said it's not in my village, is whatever. I want to agree. The information I have, all the money that we put in the first round went out and it got finished. It is true that the money did not go to all the regions. All of you will agree with me, the headquarters of banks are in Kampala. And those banks, some of them had already a women kind of facility, because that was one of the conditions for them to support us, like the Finance Trust Uganda, DFCU as a program for women, Centenary has got something for women. So when they got the money, they already have women who are already in businesses. So these people grabbed 10%. Was a very good deal for a businesswoman who knows business. So for us who came from Serere, like Asamo, we're still waiting to move to the bank. We realized the thing had gone out. So when we reported to Cabinet, the President directed that we should make this regionalized, and we're already working it. The remaining about 185 billion has to go to the regions, but we shall start with the 19 regions. So the money will be put in that level through the same banks, but they are directed to send to our regions. So the money will be going to those districts in the next one, and I hope by this week, my GROW office met with World Bank and they have agreed on the modalities. We are also negotiating that where there are no banks, if people have a good cooperative society, we can put money there. Because we know districts, for example, in Buked where I come from, Butaleja doesn't have a bank. I think, so those districts, instead of traveling to Tororo, we could think about a cooperative which is serving the people in that community. Those are the new things that are going to come, and I hope when the minister is presenting the other report, that information will be given to members. The other question which came out is about Juakali. I think it was Honorable Ogonu was saying, but it's not, it's always about Kumi. This is a national program. It might not reach everywhere, but it's a very good initiative. Those who have benefited, I think somebody here said, yeah, it's a good program. I think it was Honorable Linda. How do you come to get information? I would think that let's not wait for information. Yeah, when you pass these things, follow it with us and see whether we're implementing it the way you people gave us money to see how we can run it. But this is a very good program. They are supporting young people again out of school. Like the mothers, these young girls unfortunately get pregnant before they are 18 years. They neither get the youth fund, because when they go to the youth, they say, no, you are now a mother. When they come to the women fund, they say, no, you are not yet 18. So they are in the middle. So again, we have that category of people who are not having anywhere to be. So that's again a very critical issue. The issue of the street children, I think I want to answer that. Of recent, we have got a growth of street children. And this time the street children are organized. They are becoming gangs. I think one of my friends from Soroti talked, in Soroti I think we call them, is it what, a walk? These children can even undress you, can get your bag and power, everything. They come, when you have made a party, they come and carry away all the food. So it's going to be a very critical thing in society. And the reason we are asking for money is to see how do we build the capacity, both the parents and the children and the community, before we talk about enforcement, because we are talking of enforcement. But the ministry needs this money to begin building confidence in the community, because many parents have become so, I will not call it careless, but they are not responsible for their young people. And these young people, because they don't go to school, they are dropouts, they are being left there on their own. Another thing which was asked, the others were proposals which I think we are going to take as a ministry, but I think I need to see what other thing was brought in. I think Honorable Kwizera, you as we are generally more of supporting and seeing how we can work on them. Even I want to give Atkins hope that, Honorable Atkins hope that we are working, we are not a white elephant, we might have not reached Kasese, but we shall reach there. The money for the older persons, yeah, that money is already going. Sometimes they give them in a quarter, 75 what? 1,000. Because when you give 25, we tend to give them at a 75, and then the old people get. But I want to inform the House that, again, you pass the PDM. PDM had percentages. Can we follow and know whether the percentages are working? 10% for the older people. Go back to your parish and know whether the 10 million has been given to 10 older people, 10 million has been given to disabled people, 30 million must be given to the women at the parish level. This is again our responsibility as members of parliament to do the tracking. Where is the money? We have left this money just to be going, and I hope my brother, Honorable Magesi, will agree with me that recently I was with him and asking how many disabled I've got. For me, they have only given 1%. So I'm still asking, where is my 9%? Because I double as a minister, but also as a member of parliament. Because when you look at the records and you see only 1%, where is the other money? And yet the money is over. So the PDM money, Honorable Okot, let's follow what the Wazeis are supposed to get. But what I'm reporting here, they have gone beyond even theirs, because in the report of local government, I think they're at 12.5. So it means the old people are even more faster, because for them, they have land. By the old people have their money, they have everything, they can easily get this money and use it. They are not like the young people who don't have access to land and access to property.
Thank you,
So,
Honourable Minister.
And then conclusively, Speaker, I want to thank again the members, and I want to take that whatever you have given us, I have recorded them. Some of them I'm also sending to my technical people. We shall come back and give a report on some of those proposals, but I thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you. Chair, do you have any pending issue? Okay, Chair.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank also the honourable colleagues for the positive response. I will respond to, there is a member who inquired about the issue of elections of workers. Right Honourable Speaker, this is provided for under the Parliamentary Elections Act, that the ministry should organize workers from sub-county level up to regional levels to cause a register for the elections of workers MP, and that is a responsibility of Ministry of Labour, that they are responsible for all the workers in the country. The other clarification is on the child labour and also street children. Those are two areas. On the issue of child labour, there is already some reports that are international reports that are looking at our products being produced by child labor. One is the area of fisheries, and also in plantations like coffee, tea plantations, and sugar, and that's an area of concern. Then I remember also raised the issue of the minority groups. This falls under the EOC, which is independent from the ministry. There are a number of other minority groups that the EOC would wish to integrate. For example, there is a tribe called Maragori from Kiryandongo, and others. So this is an area that is being handled by Equal Opportunities Commission. Also, the member raised an issue of Karamoja as an affirmative action, and it is also being handled as an equal opportunities issue, equalities and others. So I want to thank honorable colleagues for your response and also for considering this report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. I now put the question, the report of the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development on the Ministerial Policy Statements and Budget Estimates for financial year 2025-2026 be adopted. Those in favor say aye to the contrary. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. The report, the adopted recommendations are referred to the Committee on Budget for Reconciliation, Harmonization, and Consolidation, in as far as our rules are concerned. I want to thank you, Chair, and your team, and Honourable Minister, for responding to the issues of members. Next.
Item 3.3. Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
Honorable Chair, can see the Minister is around, so we are ready to proceed.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. I beg to lay on table the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the Ministerial Policy Statement and Budget Estimate for financial year 2025-2026. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the report. I also beg to lay the minutes of the committee during the processing of this report. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues.
Honourable, you have 15 minutes.
I'm aware of that. Thank you. On behalf of the Committee on Agriculture, I beg to report the committee report on the processing of ministerial policy statement and budget estimate for the next financial year. And I would like not to waste time a lot. In this report, it's under agro-industrialization program. We have the overview. We have the program strategic objectives. We have budget allocation for this financial year. And we have the vote budget performance, that is half-year performance for this financial year, and major vote achievement. It's uploaded, and I know, honorable colleagues, you can go through this because it's clear. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to go straight to observation and recommendations of the committee as per vote. But before I do that, I want to highlight a very important concern under this agro-industrialization program that is clearly really trying to make us not to achieve to our full potential as a sector. Agro-industrialization program is allocated 2.4% of the national budget in this coming financial year, from 2.9% in the approved budget of 2024-2025. Additionally, the allocation to the program is 30% less than the NDP4 projected allocation of 2,448 billion. This is very key. I remember our budget should be aligned to the NDP4, but in the agro-industrialization program, it's not aligning. Agriculture is a key driver of Uganda's economy, accounting for 70% of the employment, but contributing only 24.7% of the GDP. This indicates that the sector is contributing way below its potential, as most production are low-value raw materials. In addition, most people involved in the sector produce for their own subsistence, which is not captured in the GDP. The allocation is not a fair reflection of its importance to the economy and contravenes several government international commitments towards agriculture funding. This calls for more investment in large-scale mechanization, value addition, research, agro-processing, in line with the objective of the program. I know very well we are members of recent CADIP, that we are signatory that 10% of the national budget should be allocated for agricultural sector. In this regard, the committee recommends that government should raise the budget for agro-industrialization program in a phased manner, because we cannot say up to 10% due to financial constraint, from the current 2.4 to at least 5% in the medium term, which with a view of attaining the 10% allocation as outlined in the 2025 Kampala CADIP declaration, to which Uganda is a signatory. 2, government should align the budgetary allocation for agro-industrialization program with NDP4 target of 2.448 billion in order to meet the projected budget allocation and program goals. MAIF budget. This is vote 010. MAIF have absorbed core functions of dissolved agencies, and it has not been fully funded in line with the original programming under these agencies. This is very key, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. The committee notes that the budget allocation for the program has declined, as stated earlier, and there's need to really put into consideration. Nevertheless, the budget has actually reduced up to 1,828.5 billion to 2,0694 billion, despite taking on the additional mandates. Instead of increasing, but the budget have reduced from 1,182 billion, it has reduced to 806 billion. So this is a serious decline. The committee recommends that the budget for the ministry be increased to cater for additional functions, especially agricultural extension, seeds and seedlings, fertilizers, hulls, and high-value crops like avocado, macadamia, cashew nuts, apples, sunflower, and soya. To address food security, production, and productivity, there is need to provide 30 tons of maize, 20 tons of bean seeds per district, and for other stakeholders, 50 billion be provided. Why are we saying this? There's already anticipation of drought this year, according to UNBS. But we're in 2023, to handle only the anger of Karamoja, Uganda spent 350 billion. So why don't we prevent this earlier by prior preparation? In addition, 50 billion be provided for coffee seeds and seedlings, and 3 billion for macadamia, 5 billion for cashew nuts, 5 billion for avocado, 5 billion for apple, 5 billion for soya, and 4 billion for sunflower. This will help us for the continuity, and as the president have been saying, we should have chura. We have to calculate. We have to have seasonal earnings, daily earnings, and annual earnings. Although MAIF have made effort to promote agricultural mechanization, that is under mechanization, the committee recommends that government should prioritize increased investment in agricultural mechanization to increase production and productivity of this sector if we want to move from subsistence to a commercial farming. In addition to that, 67 billion should be allocated to support the procurement and distribution of 1,518 horsepower tractors and 375 horsepower tractors in line with the plan of the sector. There's a program under the ministry that each sub-county should have a tractor and each parish should have a 18 horsepower tractor. That is the unworking tractor. Next is mechanization center, and this follows up equipping these areas. The committee recommends that an additional 75 billion be provided for this purpose. We have 19 mechanization centers where our beneficiaries of the tractors, those who want to have the operating skills, where we have the stores and other heavy moving equipment, especially for those who want to have bigger farms. They can access easily at a subsidized price.
Chair, can you limit yourself to report?
Yes. Agricultural financing. The committee recommends that Ministry of Finance and MAIF should expedite the ongoing process of formulating agricultural finance and insurance policy. It's very key, Right Honorable Speaker. On water for agriculture production, the committee recommends that the funding gap of 51.43 billion be provided in the financial year 2025-2026 towards the construction and rehabilitation of water harvesting facilities, including valley dams, valley tanks, ponds, and on-farm water harvesting and storage infrastructure, as well as communal water reservoirs to support domestic use, agricultural production, and livestock needs. On Achumai Agricultural Complex, the committee recommends that an additional 9.9 billion be provided to complete the flood protection works around the scheme. This scheme is at about 98% completion, but there's a gap of this. Affirmative action for fishery subsectors and aquaculture development. Colleagues, I hope you have read the body of this. The committee recommends that additional 50 billion be provided to fill the funding gap needed to provide fishing communities with essential resources, including fishing gears, motorboats, alternative livelihoods, and social services. 2, MAIF should expedite the formulation of regulation operationalizing the Fisheries and Aquaculture Act Cap 314. 3, the Fisheries Monitoring, Control and Surveillance Unit be operationalized with additional funding. Another under MAIF, post-harvest handling and value addition. The committee recommends that MAIF prioritize establishing regional and sub-regional storage facilities or silos to support farmers. MAIF should explore the possibility of establishing storage facilities at the sub-county level in a phased manner to support parish development model. 3, MAIF should establish a robust monitoring and evaluation framework to assess the effectiveness of storage facilities and related initiatives. MAIF should promote the use of technology in storage solutions such as temperature and humidity control system to enhance the preservation of agricultural products and reduce spoilage. 5, MAIF should develop targeted support program for smallholder farmers and medium farmers to access storage facilities, including financial assistance or cooperative models that enable shared use of storage resources. MAIF should prioritize the establishment and stocking of 2 national food and seed reserve facilities. This initiative will ensure a stable supply of essential agricultural inputs and enhance national food security, directly supporting the objective outlined in NDP 4. Next and the last on that note, MAIF should take stock of non-operational storage facilities constructed under different programs and ensure they are brought to use by making the additional investment required. The committee recommends that 10.63 billion be reallocated for this purpose. Farmer education and media outreach. The committee recommends that an additional Uganda shillings of 2.52 billion be provided to support farm education, which is put in the local language kusukuzas, media-based extension services. Wake up from sleep. Yes, that one. Vote 142. National Agricultural Research Organization. That's NARO. Under that, we have agricultural research infrastructure. The committee recommends that the shortfall of 13.14 billion be provided for the research infrastructure. Staff recruitment under NARO. The committee recommends that an allocation of 11 billion be provided in financial year 2025-2026 to facilitate the recruitment of essential staff for NARO. Areas under NARO. The committee recommends that 4 billion be allocated in financial year 2025-2026 to clear outstanding areas for NARO. Vote 125. That is NAGRIC. Research, genetics, and inspection and certification. The committee recommends that an additional Uganda shillings 35.77 billion be provided to support establishment of breeding and multiplication center countrywide, and another additional 28.5 billion be provided to boost production of livestock semen and liquid nitrogen. The committee also recommends that 36.78 billion be provided to establish and renovate livestock breeding and production infrastructure on government farms and ranches. Right Honorable Speaker, on 6 we have key unfunded and unfunded intervention that is in the table. I know members, you can read what is provided and what is not there. We also have in the table, that is 7, supply table of financial year 2025-2026. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the agricultural sector is a key driver of Uganda's economy, employing up to 70% of the population, contributing half of all exports and 1/4 of GDP. However, it is not given the due attention when it comes to budgeting, as it is always allocated less than 3% of the national budget. Government should consider investing heavily in this sector as the benefits of such investment benefits majority of the population. Agriculture should be considered the magic bullet to deliver this country to its aspiration and therefore supported with appropriate budget. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I open the debate. Now, I'll start with Honorable Oguzuri, followed by Honorable Nachimuri, followed by Honorable Nsamba, followed by Honorable Isingoma, Honorable Santa, Honorable Kamuntu, Honorable Makoa. Then I go this side, then I come back here. Okay? 3 minutes each, strictly.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But Honorable, before, sorry, I just needed to recognize our guests. Yeah. The public gallery this afternoon, Honorable colleagues, we have students and teachers of Katoma Seed Senior Secondary School, Kiboga District. They are represented by Honorable Haji Mutumba Abdur and Honorable Kaya Christine Nachimwero. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Can you stand up for recognition? Thank you. Very smart. Thank you. Honorable Guzuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the committee for the very elaborate report. An observation has been made about the compliance of the proposed budget for the agro-industrialization program in relation to the National Development Plan 4. It has been clearly brought that there is a mismatch. That therefore means the budget is not complying with the NDP 4. So I don't know where the Minister of Finance is. I think this is a very important matter that must be addressed before we even move. 2, we know the contribution of agriculture. Ideally, each program should have brought to us their contribution to the GDP of this country. There are ministries that are very quiet on how much they are putting in the national coffers, and we have established agriculture as one of those doing a commendable work. Why do I say that? Sectors like coffee crops, strategic crops like coffee that contribute significantly are often underfunded. For example, last year, coffee brought to this country $1.1 billion. Ideally, if we were concerned with generating more resources for this country, we would have put money in coffee research, we would have put money in coffee quality assurance infrastructure, we would have made sure farmers are supported. But this seems not happening. I would want to invite this House to pay attention to some of our strategic crops like coffee by making sure we support research initiatives, by making sure disease-resistant seedlings are available to the farmers. We have been grappling with the issues of climate change. And the only way we can be able to confront climate change is if we invest in drought-resistant species. How are we going to achieve that? We need to be able to provide resources to the sector. We know most of our farmers are also facing problem of food insecurity. Across this country, we would expect investment. If I could just finish this.
Yeah, but only I said 3 minutes.
Just allow me this. I wanted to drive the point on food reservoirs. Globally now, people invest in food reservoirs so that whatever little is produced can be kept safely, and whenever there is scarcity, we would be able to tap in that. So I think these are very key considerations we must make, but most importantly, the budget of agriculture needs to be aligned with what was in the NDP4. Only then shall we move ahead to approve this budget for this sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nachimuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the committee for the very good recommendations, especially in the fishery sector, where I come from. And I want to commend you for including fuel for the FPU in the operations on the lake. It is very unfortunate that some of our fishermen are asked for fuel on a monthly basis. It is supposed to be given to the FPU to carry out their operations. They say they don't have enough. So when you include that in the recommendations, we are grateful. But I'm also thinking this is robbery during broad daylight, because if you ask the people, you're supposed to do operations for money, it is unfair to them. Then also, Mr. Speaker, in the committee recommendations, you talked about seedlings, but I represent a fisheries community. They don't do, most of them don't do agriculture farming. They do fish farming, thank you, but they don't do crop and animal. Not all of them, of course, but I thought we would also get an idea of the fishermen being given fishing nets. You see, when you give the farmers seedlings, it is also important that you do not leave out the fishermen and women. I implore government to give the fishermen fishing gears, like the fishing nets, and also maybe reduce on the subsidize on the taxes on the fishing gears, like the engines that they use, because an engine now, Mr. Speaker, of 15 horsepower is about 9-10 million Uganda shillings one, and fishing nets are very expensive. That is why actually they go into illegal fishing, because the illegal fishing methods brought into the country are cheaper than those that are legal. So if we could also, I implore government to ensure that the fishermen in Uganda are also considered, apart from the fishery fund that we are advocating for, also give them free fishing nets to ensure that also the fishermen are enjoying their life in the country. Thank you so much, and thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Samba, followed by Honorable Singoma.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this is the first budget we are working on after the RAPEX bills that took us a lot of time here, considering when government promised that the end result is to have to save money. I want to hear from the chair and the minister about the savings made from the RAPEX, because so many agencies were rationalized, and I want to hear those savings, what happened to them, how are Ugandans benefiting from savings made from RAPEX. Right Honorable Speaker, we had the challenges with the functionality of this MAIF ministry. Can we get confidence that harmony has been created? Because, Right Honorable Speaker, the information we get from there, they are fighting, they can't complete a meeting in that ministry. Fighting for this, fighting for that. I want to hear from the minister, how far have you gone with making this ministry functional in terms of there is a lot of infighting, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to hear from the minister, how far have you gone in fixing that problem? Because remember, our biggest fear was the poor functionality of that ministry. Now, update this house on how far you have gone in ensuring that we are not going to hear the same stories always and always. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Singoma, followed by Honourable Santa.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would also want to join colleagues in appreciating the chair for the committee, Honourable Linda, for a good report. Mr. Speaker, my attention is specifically drawn to the issue of seedlings. When we were just come in this house, Right Honourable Speaker, we used to get a lot of seedlings and to distribute to our constituents. This went on for about maybe 2 years, but since the inception of PDM, we have constantly been told that this role has been taken over by PDM, and therefore the Ministry of Agriculture is no longer responsible. But there is a lot of shortage of seedlings amid this kind of dispensation. There is a lot of shortage of seedlings. Today, actually, my office is currently in the constituency, is currently inundated by constant requests from constituents of seedlings, which we cannot readily provide. So, Right Honourable Speaker, how do we proceed with this? Because the seedlings are not there. This is a planting season, and yet the role has been transferred to the ministry, to PDM. My second point is on this.
Honourable, on that point.
Yes.
You propose, you get it. Because you see, we never provided a budget for seedlings to the ministry. So we shouldn't expect the ministry to give us seedlings when we never budgeted for them.
Exactly.
So your proposal should be that maybe we provide money for seedlings.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you for argumenting my point. So you have heard from the Speaker. Can we find money? Can we find money, Right Honourable Speaker, for seedlings so that we can alleviate our people's misery? Because this is the planting season. It may be too late now, but better late than never. Let us put money in the budget for seedlings. The last point, Honourable Speaker, is on this. The last point, Right Honourable Speaker, is on this National Livestock Breeding Organization. Right Honourable Speaker, this organization, its activities have not impacted our Bunyoro sub-region at all. And this is very unfortunate because it means the area has now some bit of deficiency as far as this organization is concerned. May propose that the ministry considers decentralization of this organization to all regions in the country.
Honourable, conclude your point because I interfered with your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again for being very considerate. Yeah, I was saying this National Breeding Organization is only headquarter based. It is not visible in other regions within the country. Honourable Linda, we want you to consider this. This is a very important organization. We want to feel it impacting our regions. Right now, it is headquarter centered. That was my request, Honourable Speaker. Can we find money which can help us decentralize this organization to other regions within the periphery?
Honourable Santa, followed by Honourable Margaret Makoa.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. I thank the Chair for this elaborate report. Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt that agriculture is the key driver to this economy, where we have over 70% of our population engaged, and vis-a-vis the budget, which is declining, Mr. Speaker, from 2.9 to 2.4, according to the committee. Mr. Speaker, where is our plan and where is our priority? If 70% of the people we cannot plan for and we are planning in a reverse order. Mr. Speaker, the chair was saying that there was a commitment. The country committed to 10% of the budget to agriculture during the African Union Extraordinary Summit on Comprehensive Agriculture. I want to disagree with you, the chair. 10% for 70% of our people is not asking for too much. So, Mr. Speaker, as a parliament, we need to provide for money for these people where the majority of the people are women. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about seeds and seedlings. When we were rationalizing, we were told that it would help in saving money and being cost effective. And what are we seeing now? The nuts, which was providing the seeds, is no more. Cotton development is no more. Mr. Speaker, the committee proposed a budget of 50 billion for seeds and seedlings. Mr. Speaker, this is planting seasons. Our people are not being helped so much by the PDM. So if there's anything that this parliament can do in this budget is to provide for money for seeds and seedlings to our farmers who are the majority in this country, Mr. Speaker, and where we have the majority of Ugandans being employed. Then lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to make mention of the post-harvest handling and together with farmers' education. Many times we have seen a problem of poor storage and even poor quality of our produce. Mr. Speaker, asking for 2.5 billion for educating our farmers on post-harvest handling, on how we are supposed to handle our harvest so that we tapped in the world market. Just in the neighborhood here, even in Sudan, Mr. South Sudan, our produce was rejected because of poor quality. So if this parliament can provide this money to help directly in the extension services, I think we shall be helping this country a lot, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Margaret Makoha, followed by Honorable Margaret Rabushija.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Speaker. She had stood up? No. Honorable Biakatonda.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I would also wish to appreciate the chairperson for the committee for the good report. It is very true that Uganda, agriculture is our backbone, but it's very unfortunate that according to the chairperson, instead of increasing the budget, it is being reduced. I would wish to talk about two issues in her submission. One was if we want to mechanize agriculture, we should give out tractors and working tractors to our people. This is not your first time as the Minister of Agriculture to procure these tractors, but somehow some of our communities that received them do not know where to get the spare parts. It's very unfortunate that you give out tractors which in a few years are dumped there and put into scrap simply because you've procured tractors which do not have spare parts in this country. If you procure from, say, Chinese or where, can you please let the country know where you put your spare parts so that we do not put these things, dispose them off like it is being done today. So that is one of my key submission, and also I represent Namayingo, which has Bukoli Islands. At times we even fear to go to these fishing communities, because when you go there, they harass you. You talk of PDM, they ask you where they can benefit from PDM. 1 million of PDM cannot help a fisherman. So I want to request that let government, if you want to help people, if it is affirmative action for the fishing communities, let's put their money. It is us who are in charge of passing the budget. Let's find the money so that we can help our people. The 1 million which you always talk about cannot be of help to the fishing communities. So it is our duty to make sure that we provide, we help our people to be well so that they can economically be of value to this country. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Colleagues in the VIP gallery this afternoon, this morning, it's not yet afternoon. Oh, it's afternoon, wow. We started very early. You know, we left here towards 10 p.m. last night. So, and we are here early morning, so. So, in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from the Parliament of Kenya. They include Dr. Phil Brighton Buchere, Major Retired, Director, Senate Liaison Office. Thank you. Mr. Samson Soroboti, Director, Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Anton Jologe, Director, Litigation and Compliance. Mr. Richard Kemboi, Chief Procurement Officer. And the delegation is currently undergoing training at Esami. They are accompanied by Dr. Henry Warihu and Mr. Peter Gawaya, staff from Esami. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me once again, colleagues, in welcoming them. Thank you. Yes. Honorable Kajrenje. Princess, oh, I had picked Honorable Byakatonda, Ari. Yes, so after Byakatonda, Honorable Kajrenje. Then Princess, then
thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Stera,
and colleagues,
Haj.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Please, I'm still in charge, Where did you get this discipline from? Yeah. I don't know why you're hurrying, No, Byakatonda usually is here. Yes, so I was picking colleagues to speak. I had picked Honorable Kajwenje, Princess, Honorable Stera Atiang. Oh, yes, Honorable Kamunta, I'll pick you when I'm coming back here, okay? I'll come back. Honorable Stera Atiang, Haj Idi, I'll pick Dr. Nsababuturo, then I'll pick Honorable Annette Mugisha, pick Ginger. Then I do another round, Honorable colleagues, don't mind. Okay, so Honorable Byakatonda.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. You know, when you talk about food, I got conditioned. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the chair for the report. And Right Honorable Speaker, I think agriculture is quite crucial. Last year, the statistics said it that 70%, about 26 are employed by agriculture. And Right Honorable Speaker, government had a number of commitments. Under the Malabo Declaration, we committed that we shall be giving agriculture at least 10% allocation of the budget. But currently, we are still at 3.37%. 2.2, actually it is even 2.4%. So, Right Honorable Speaker, how do we promise people heaven, and yet we don't actually go to places of worship? We need really to be serious, Right Honorable Speaker, and do whatever it takes to prioritize agriculture. Right Honorable Speaker, you find that the issue here is that we need to talk about agro-processing, which you have only given 2.4. Now, what processing is there? Right Honorable Speaker, when you go to the villages last weekend, farmers have got money from PDM beneficiaries, but the problem is where they sell their products. I remember one of them coming with a cock, which they were selling at 15,000, but desperately they can even give to you at 10. That demonstrates the issue of market access, Right Honorable Speaker. Then the emphasis here has been research and development, R&D. But you find that even our institution narrow, Chairperson has mentioned, it is even in areas. And Right Honorable Speaker, I think the manpower is below 40%, and the funding gap equally is severely very low. Right Honorable Speaker, I think we need to move in this direction and ensure that we move. Because now, what happens with the commitment under Malabo Declaration? We said at least 10%, so it would even be at 15%, but 2.4. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that we should really look at if we want sustainability, if we want to increase the employability of our youngster, because globally Uganda has the youngest workforce, and those are unemployed. And then the other problem, challenge, Right Honorable Speaker, when we're growing up and even up to now, in the schools, people who are culpable are normally given a punishment as agriculture, to go and dig. So our children have grown up thinking agriculture is a punishment for criminals. Do we really need to move and change the narrative so that at least we put in our curriculum and ensure that at least we move? Right Honorable Speaker, I want to mention that as you are aware, as you might.
Thank you, Honorable Kajenje.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll address myself to 3 points. One, water for production. I'm happy that the 2025-2026 budget has for once addressed the prominent
the pertinent issue with regards to agriculture. Climate change has robbed us of our usual rain patterns. We must rely on water that we already have in dams. And unfortunately, Right Honorable Speaker, the existing dams and or what you can call communal water granaries, for example, in my constituency, big ones that were constructed in the 40s, 60s, and 70s have gone to waste. They are silted. They need to be desilted. And previously, Right Honorable Speaker, there was a misalignment because water for production belonged to Ministry of Water, yet Ministry of Agriculture was implementing micro-scale irrigation, yet when they didn't have dams. I'm happy now that this budget has put it clear that they are going to desilt these communal water granaries. I would be very glad to see Rabi Gemano, Rugonji, Muriampinguzi, Karo, Chamagaju, Chakabunga, all those being desilted. And with that, then you have a base, you have water to pump and irrigate the crops. 2, value addition. Having produced, we now need to go a notch higher and invest in value addition so that we can export processed goods. I'm happy that this budget is also addressing it. Lastly, aligning R&D with production. Research and development, Right Honorable Speaker, must be aligned with production. An example, our narrow scientists have come up with an anti-tick vaccine, which in essence is going to stop the cattle hemorrhage that we have been and stop us from spending colossal sums of money. But we do not seem to be budgeting for its production. In the last supplementary, we made available 60 billion. I want to see this budget 2025, 2026 consistently putting money available for production of anti-tick vaccine for our 44 million live animals. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. But on that issue of antique, we also need harmonization. Please take your seat. Because we have 2 centers. We have the team of Professor Kawa, which receives huge billions also, and presidential affairs. Okay? And that's secretariat, this science, STI, you know, Dr. Mseneros. Then you have NARO also. So how are the 2 harmonizing? Are we going to continue building 2 blocks from this aspect? I think we need to harmonize. And we know that now, since Makere you have developed, okay, and NARO has developed, maybe we can have 2 anti-tick vaccines, but under one entity. Princess Harriet Businge.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to add my voice on those that have thanked the chair and the committee members. Right Honorable, I'll precisely go on coffee. The committee and of course the entire house feels that we should have the coffee seedlings because it's what we are promoting as a country. I want the committee and the house to note that much as we are advocating for new seedlings, I want us to recall that UCDA, the liabilities that the ministry inherited, didn't pay some seedlings that were supplied. Hoima district still has those people that still demand from this government, especially my sub-county where I come from, Buanika, they were using them as beds. So we should find money as parliament to pay those people. It can't be proper that the government seems to be cheating the poor farmers. Secondly, Right Honorable, part of our area, the Albertine Graben, falls in my docket, Lake Albert. I want to thank you, Right Honorable, because you found time to host those communities here, and we really appreciate you, because what was there, the sentiments were like, Parliament does not care for the fishing communities, because we realized that they've actually lost their livelihood, Right Honorable. Those are fishing, gazetted fishing villages. Their only source of livelihood is on the lake, which lake has been taken over by the army. They don't access, and everything they use cannot match with the times. I recommend, Right Honorable and the members, that we really find a sizable amount of money to facilitate the acquisition of the recommended gears so that our people can live. Otherwise, it is horrible. As members of parliament and the other leaders, you can hardly face that wrath. People are really very hot. Thirdly, the post-harvest handling. We've seen cases where they are saying Uganda cannot export maize, and this is dangerous. And now, with the PDM that has promoted the production, we anticipate that we are going to have volumes increase out of the production, the PDM monies that we are giving out, and of course other ventures. I recommend that as a committee and as parliament, we should be seen to have some money that is going to handle maybe construction of silos at whatever level. We can start small. Maybe you can start a county, we have a storage. Right Honorable members, some of us who come from villages know that some of our population cannot house themselves comfortably. So it is really...
Thank you, Honorable Stella Tiang. ED Aneti Mugisha Katariloi. Switch on, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join my colleagues to thank the committee for the elaborate report that has been presented. One Honorable Speaker, the chair just informed us that 350 billion was spent in Karamoja to solve the issue of anger. I just want to know which financial year and how was it spent. If it was spent in a certain financial year, it would be good for the ministry to explain to Karamojongs, especially the Karamoja MPs, on how that money was used, so that we appreciate. Two, I want to comment on the issue of tractors. Tractors, the ministry always provides tractors, but the number of tractors that are provided are too few to help the farmers grow their crops. I want to give an example of the last financial year, where Karamoja was given 10 tractors, and they decided that they do it district by district. They started with Karenga, and the year ended with tractors in Karenga, meaning that each district needs tractors so that they're able to grow crops timely. I would suggest that more funds be given to the ministry for purchase of tractors, so that at least one tractor per parish is provided. Secondly, the issue of water for production. We all know that Karamoja is prone to anger, and the reason that's why it's prone to anger is just because of inadequate water. We've been urging for water for production, especially construction of mega dams. When the first lady was a minister for Karamoja, at least she tried. She constructed for us 2 big mega dams, that is Kobebe and Nakichumet. They hold a lot of water, and it's the one that is helping us to water our animals for a long time. But those are few. And what now the ministry is doing is actually constructing small water ponds that hold little water in the shortest time. I pray that if there is money for production in Karamoja, bigger mega dams are constructed. Bigger mega dams like semi-lakes. Actually, we had proposed that you construct a semi-lake in a central place of Karamoja, that is Lopei. Lopei is a swampy area where almost all the water for Karamoja slope. It's a central place that helps more than five districts of the region. If you would provide water, money to do that. And then secondly,
Thank you, Haj. Idi Sabidia.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the chairperson of the committee and the members for the report. Right Honorable Speaker and the colleagues, we are all products of agriculture. Because in one way or the other, you cannot survive without agriculture. And we must be known as a country for something. And for quite a long time, Uganda has been known as an agricultural country. And we have been known for growing coffee and for the natural resources that we have. But Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we cannot lament on the question of water for production with all the lakes and rivers that we have in this country. Where are our planners? The Honorable Minister for Agriculture. With all the lakes and rivers that this country is endowed, can we really lament on the issue of water for production when the countries are in the deserts have water? Right, Honorable Speaker, I think what we need to do here, and colleagues, is to call upon our planners in this country. How do we use the lakes and rivers that we have? The water, we have much water, a lot of water in this country. We shouldn't talk about lacking water. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to emphasize the issue of allocation of at least the 50 billion that the committee has suggested. Honorable Speaker, 50 billion for fisheries sector. I think I would even say it is even not adequate. Because for a long time, agriculture as a ministry has 3 sectors. And that is crop farming, livestock, and fisheries. But if you look at the allocation, the way allocation has been done in the ministry, fisheries sector receives a very meager allocation. And yet, fisheries alone is a gold mine. If we invest a lot in fisheries, members will agree with me, fisheries is like put money where you can see. But when you look at how allocation has been done, I think we need as a parliament to employ the ministry to make sure that we invest a lot in fisheries. But Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we are aware how our fishing community has been going through. And this is being done as an affirmative action. If we are talking about creating an...
Thank you. Honorable Annette Mugisha, Honorable Katari Loy. Then Dr. Nsaba Buturu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to add my voice to appreciate the Honorable Chair and the committee for the report. Mr. Speaker, mine is about areas of nursery bed operators. In 2022, the operators had a contract with the government to supply seedlings to the beneficiaries. But Mr. Speaker, up to now, these farmers have never been paid. And yet, vote 152 allocated 19 billion and 2 billion, respectively, to pay the nursery bed, the nursery operators. We don't know where the money went, Mr. Speaker. These farmers acquired loans from banks, from circles. The loans have accumulated a lot of interest. As I talk now, farmers have lost their properties to banks. Some of them are battling with cases in courts. We don't know what to do. Right, Honorable Speaker, the nursery bed operators from Bushenyi have already petitioned your office, and I know it is there. They really want to be paid. But the unfortunate part of it, Madam Chair, I'm now, okay, through Mr. Speaker. In her report, I've not heard about anything concerning paying arrears for our farmers. So I would like to request you that you, at least if you are not paying in this financial year, incorporate these farmers in the next financial year. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Katari Loy.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving this opportunity. I'd like to thank the committee chair and the members for the edited report. Right Honourable Speaker, I agree with members that the agriculture sector or ministry should be, whose budget should be enhanced. Right Honourable Speaker, on seedlings, the time we're giving out seedlings, our people are benefiting. But right now, it's a season for for rains.
Order, colleagues, order. I can hear a lot going on. I don't know what's. Please, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I was talking about seedling supply. The time we used to supply seedlings, our people are benefiting. Right now, our people have no seedlings. With PDM, people are doing whatever they want, not necessarily buying seedlings. But on this same point, Right Honourable Speaker, when we look at, I agree with the committee that we should budget for the seedlings. The government should provide funds for the seedlings. But in this, Right Honourable Speaker, I request that sugarcane is included. Right Honourable Speaker, sugarcane by default belongs to the Trade Ministry, making it difficult or impossible to get benefits from the Ministry of Agriculture. So as we think about supplying seedlings, because I know we supply 40 and others, sugarcane should be included. Right Honourable Speaker, on tractors, Busoga is still waiting, or ginger. Some areas have received tractors, but we haven't received. So I agree with the committee that we should provide funds to procure tractors, including ginger. Right Honourable Speaker, on areas, it is embarrassing, to say the limit, that year in, year out, we come here talking about areas, people have supplied government, but they cannot be paid. These guys have gone to banks, they have huge debts, they have lost their property, but it's embarrassing for us to come here year in, year out, and we say government cannot pay areas. It is my prayer that government makes it her desire to clear these people. Thank you.
Dr. Buturo.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I have a deep regret that the committee did not mention anything regarding genetically modified organisms. This is a disastrous, Mr. Speaker, indication that those who are charged with managing affairs of our country are not concerned about our existence, our sovereignty. Why am I saying this, Mr. Speaker? There is a conspiracy to kill our seeds, indigenous, traditional seeds, in preference of genetically modified organism seeds. It's a conspiracy, Mr. Speaker, which is spearheaded by the seed multinational corporations. And its purpose primarily is to ensure that we are dependent on outsiders. Who in his right mind, Mr. Speaker, would align with those whose determination is to see that our seeds are killed, our indigenous seeds, Mr. Speaker, our traditional seeds and crops? There's no mention in the report. And yet, Mr. Speaker, it's to do with our existence. The idea that we become a market for others, and we accept to depend on seeds whose prices we have no control over. Seeds that go along with pesticides whose primary purpose is to kill our soils. And I can say, Mr. Speaker, that many of our farmers today are witnessing decline in their yields. Soils are dying. But, Mr. Speaker, isn't it not right that the report should recognize this threat to our existence, that clearly is intended to make us subservient, dependent, and losers of our sovereignty? Mr. Speaker, while I do commend the chairman for his report, I regret completely that we have failed to mention this issue of genetically modified organisms. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, a few months ago, here in this House, I moved a motion which was urging government to promote, protect, and preserve indigenous seeds. And the House was in agreement completely. Not surprisingly, the ministry concerned has gone quiet over this. My indication...
Conclude, senior. Switch on and conclude.
My indication, Mr. Speaker, is that the there is reluctance from the quotas concerned to ensure that we protect our seeds, we promote our seeds, we preserve our seeds. This is treacherous, Mr. Speaker, and must not be accepted.
Thank you. Honorable, we shall be asking for an action taken report on the motion which was passed here. And, you know, it must be, we must have deliberate efforts. You remember when we had the GMO law here, we found nearly all our scientists had been paid for postgraduate studies by those same seed companies. So wherever you could touch, you find the people you're touching were mainly funded by Monsanto. By the way, just go in the Ministry of Agriculture, Naro, everywhere, you'll find the biggest funder for doctoral studies and postgraduate studies is Monsanto. We found it, and they confessed. So I think we need also to have a budget to develop our own scientists as a government so that they can be conditioned, you know, to think like Ugandans, not in support of their funders. That one is an open secret. It's an open secret. We cannot hide away from it. I had picked. So yes, but we need to hear from these farmers of Uganda, Nakasongora. Honorable Wanzara.
Thank you very much,
and
Right
then
Honorable
we
Speaker.
go to Honorable Kamuntu.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want also to associate with the committee to support the report. But Honorable Speaker, I entirely agree that I represent the farmers, the cattle keepers, but also fishermen. I want to talk about the fishermen, Right Honorable Speaker. Last Friday, I was at one of the landing site in my area, but of course the fishermen had to tell me a number of things. But one of them, when you move around Lake Choga, Right Honorable Speaker, the landing sites, those ones who are bordering the Lake Choga, the Honorable Kupa and the others can bear witness that our landing sites are blocked by the water weed. You cannot access. So the fishermen are in trouble of accessing the lake. So my humble request would be that the committee should also think about putting a fund to unblock the landing sites. That's one. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, is that our farmers, especially the fishermen have gone ahead to register the cooperatives. They have cooperatives which are registered, but of course I want to suggest that there must be a deliberate effort to fund these fishermen so that they can have money to replace the lost property during the enforcement. You are aware, Right Honorable Speaker, there is enforcement taking place on the lake, on the poor fishing method, but of course our fishermen have lost the nets, the engines, but also others. But government and the committee, we need to think about the fishermen and have a special fund for them to replace the lost property, as I've stated. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, is about water for production. I am happy that I'm saying this, but Right Honorable Speaker, when you go to a number of districts, there are valley dams, as Honorable Kazwenja has stated, which were excavated in the 40s up to 1978. Those valley dams are there. They are silted now as I can talk. They need to be desilted. When you go to my place like Chankono, like Narubovia, like Bamgode, like Chisenyi, and a number of others in Wabinyonyi sub-county and Kakoge sub-county, they need to be desilted. A special fund should be identified for desilting those valley dams. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, people are demanding for hose and seeds, since it was a routine that every day, every time we are used to take seedlings to them, or seeds, maize seeds. When the season comes, they say, please, where are the seeds? When the season comes, they say, where are the hoes? So it is important to think about it.
Thank you. Honorable Kamuntu, followed by Honorable. Wow. You know, I had already chosen, but there is a special case. The Dean of Independence, Honorable John, then Honorable Hilary Chiaga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And I'm also to join my colleagues thanking the chair and the committee for a detailed report. I come from Rwanda, where we have 2 research stations, that is the Karenje Research Station and the Kachwekan. Those research stations were abandoned. When I was growing up, my father was the chairman of outgrowers, so we would interact a lot with the Karenje Research Station, where varieties of Irish potatoes were being developed. But I don't know what happened. Those research stations have been abandoned for the last 10 years. And now, when we need improved seedlings, we go to our neighbors, Rwanda. I'm happy that the committee have put a little money on Naro, but for people from Kigezi, we grow Irish potatoes a lot and vegetables. And for us to have improved seedlings, we need the Naro to keep on doing the research on new seedlings. But now that the project was abandoned, the Naro was abandoned, we are facing it rough to pick seedlings which we don't know. There are soil tests and other issues. So we are losing Irish potatoes in Kigezi because of that case. Right Honorable Speaker, in Rwanda, I have pygmies. They have never been considered in any program, especially agricultural programs. This time I would love to see these people also included, because I'm tired buying them food every day. They are over 1,000. You buy them food, you train them, they ask you firewood, they ask you saucepans. But they vote. They are Ugandans, Right Honorable Speaker. They used to live in their environment in the Bginda and the Ichuya forest reserves, where they were evicted. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we need to consider our people, they are Ugandans, and train them in these agricultural.
Thank you. Honorable Janford by Honorable Hilary Chiaga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Chair and her committee for a good report. Right Honorable, my focus is on the quality, even before we debate the interventions and the amounts therein, the quality of what is supplied. Whether it is seeds, seedlings, stems, or animals, we need to consider quality against quantity. The challenge we are having, I have observed through the Right Honorable Madam Chair, is that when money is limited, the deals start. The suppliers, the people who are contracted to procure and supply those seeds, stems, seedlings, animals, etc., they buy from within, and the quality is not regarded. So they supply seeds which are substandard, stems which have diseases, animals which are poor breeds. There was an intervention recently where MPs, I think, had 10 cows to supply in their different constituencies. The supplier assured recipients that the cows were in calf. Those cows were not in calf. The cows had issues, and the people who received them, some resorted to slaughtering them for Christmas, because the animals had become liabilities rather than interventions that are productive. So as we think about giving money for these interventions, there has to be due diligence to ensure that the money, there is value for money. The crops, the seeds, the stems, the animals supplied must be of good breeds and high quality. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Herere Chiaga and Honorable Cooper.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, mine is an inquiry from the Chair on the 19 mechanized centers. I would love to know if they are operational, if the committee interrogated and found out they are operational, where they are located, because I've been asking most of my colleagues, many are not aware even where these mechanized centers are located. Lastly, Madam Chair, I would love to know how you went about to examine the quality of products on market and the regulation. How do we empower the regulating bodies, since we are budgeting for this year? Because most of the farmers are complaining about the poor products on the market. So we need to empower the regulating bodies such that we get rid of the fake drugs, fake inputs on market. Thank you.
Honorable Cooper.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, when we met with the Minister of State for Fisheries and the PS, the ministry promised to provide or to avail this House with the regulations after the law we passed. Right Honorable Speaker, it's over.
We sorted that yesterday, Honorable.
Thank
So
you. If
go to another point.
have delivered the regulations?
Just go. We sorted that yesterday.
But we need
Can-
what we need.
can
The
take the
regulations.
answered.
Yeah, we need the regulations because, Right Honorable Speaker, the issue that we raised at
Honorable,
that
we
time.
sorted that yesterday. Kind of go to another point. Because we shall be repeating ourselves.
Most obliged. I will cross-check. Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I was raising this because they have continued arresting fishermen from Kasilo and bringing them to be detained in Kamuli. I don't know why they can't detain them in Serere if they have made any fault on the lake. So, Right Honorable Speaker, it would help us. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of the dams desilting, I'm one of those who are supposed to have benefited from the desilting of dams. 2 years ago, the ministry came.
You as a person or your community?
As Kasilo County.
Okay.
As Kasilo County. All the ministers were there, we commissioned, but 2 years down the road, it is on and off. May I know from the minister when this project will be completed? And I want to request that the committee chair and his team, a committee to these areas to see the progress of this work, of desilting these dams. They're supposed to provide fishing ponds and access roads. Nothing has been completed up to now. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of tractors, for us we only hear about the tractors. They have promised and promised. I want to know the criteria of giving the tractors to the farming communities. Serere Research Station, Dr. Kasai there knows about Serere Research Station. When shall we rehabilitate what brings Research Station to what it used to be when Honorable Kasai and the team just joined the Ministry of Agriculture? Year in, year out, when are we going to rehabilitate Serere Research Station? As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, is the issue of these animals that they were giving to some districts. My chairman informed me, following what the chairman of the DPT has talked about. I don't know whether they check these service providers. How can they say they're bringing bulls for breeding and they bring a castrated bull? So how can that happen? I want you, Honorable Minister, get in touch with the chairperson.
Thank you. Chotera, then Honorable Mayanja.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank the Chair for the report. And I wish to add my voice on the issue of the areas for the coffee nursery operators. As of now, they stand at over 33 billion. This financial year, over 15 billion was released to clear some of these areas. However, only 14 billion was paid of those areas. Right Honorable Speaker, it is very important as